Mr. Speaker, sir, we come to the end of an important session of the Lok Sabha. Indeed, one could call it an historic session. For in this session, we have taken several legislative steps to empower our people, especially the weaker sections of our society, and thereby strengthen our body politic. Sir, I know there have been trying moments, and I once again reiterate my sincere and heartfelt appreciation of your fortitude, wisdom, and your inestimable patience and transparent sincerity in trying to conduct the proceedings of this august House. However, I am sure you will agree with me when I say that in this session we have been able to transact more business and conduct more meaningful debate than has been the case so far in the 14th Lok Sabha. I would like to place on record my own personal appreciation of your effort in this regard, as well as the appreciation of the members of this House. I would like to thank the Deputy Speaker and the panel of chairmen for their fair conduct of the proceedings of this House.
Yes.
This has enabled us to transact considerable business in the House. Sir, there has been a visible improvement in the volume of business transacted during this session, including the number of bills passed and issues discussed through adjournment motions and calling attention motion. We were also able to discuss 10 statements made by various ministers, including the one I made on my visit to the United States. There is also the qualitative dimension of the quality of debates and discourse. This was certainly of a higher order in this session. In all honesty, I cannot say that I was entirely satisfied with our record in making good use of the time at our disposal. However, I do feel reassured that we were able to do substantial legislative work. Mr. Speaker, sir, the world looks to us in the practice of democracy. We are a unique example of a developing country of such great diversity seeking its salvation through the framework of an open society and a functioning democracy. I must confess, I felt a deep sense of pride swell up in me as I sat listening to the words of President Hamid Karzai at a function in Kabul yesterday, where the foundation stone for the Afghan parliament was laid. President Karzai held up the example of India and said that our success in democratic governance had shown to the developing world that democracy is not a characteristic of the advanced Western nations alone. That in fact, countries of Eastern cultures could also present successful examples of democratic politics. President Karzai said, and I quote, "India has more than 1 billion people with different cultures, religions, and languages. By facilitating participation from its people, India has been able to make a stable and pluralistic democracy a reality for India. Asian and African countries in general, and Afghanistan in particular, can learn much from the rich experience of India," unquote. Sir, we have an obligation not just to our own people, but the people of the world in making sure that our democracy works and works for all our people. Billions of people across the world have a stake in the success of our democratic institutions, for they too aspire for the freedom and dignity that democracy gives them. Every Indian will feel pride rushing through his veins listening to such warm appreciation from a friendly neighbor. I salute the people of Afghanistan for the courage, fortitude, and wisdom they are showing by embracing democracy as a way of life and of governance. India will do whatever it is called upon to do to strengthen democracy and the freedom of Afghanistan. Mr. Speaker, sir, when we speak about the fruits of democracy, we are not mouthing empty phrases. I am happy that in this session of Parliament, the poorest of our people have been assured an important fruit of democracy, the assurance of gainful employment. Our government is proud of the Rural Employment Guarantee Bill that this House has approved in this session. We have fulfilled a solemn commitment we had made at the time when our government came to office. The challenge is now in how well we implement this assurance and ensure that its benefit reach the intended beneficiaries. Great responsibility rests on the shoulders of those charged with the responsibility of implementing the Employment Guarantee Act, particularly on the Panchayati Raj institution. Utmost care will be needed in selecting viable projects and in ensuring that there are no leakages and avenues of corruption in the utilization of funds. Sir, people's faith in democracy is not based on the promises we make or even on the laws we enact. It is only when the tangible and the not so tangible fruits of democracy impact on the lives of the people that their faith is renewed. We are also proud of the legislation we have passed in this session empowering our women. The amendment to the Hindu Succession Act fulfilled a long-standing promise we had made to our sisters and daughters. Our government is firmly committed. To the empowerment of scheduled castes, scheduled tribes, other backward classes, and all minorities. We are equally committed to the empowerment of our women. Sir, the true test of our democracy is its ability to respond to the needs and aspirations of every section of society. I regret our inability in this session to move ahead on the reservation of seats for women in the highest decision-making bodies of our country. But I reiterate our commitment to this just demand of half of our population. Mr. Speaker, sir, I must place on record my deep and sincere appreciation of the leadership provided in each of these major acts of legislation by our respected leader, Srimati Sonia Gandhi ji, and the members of the National Advisory Council that she chairs. They have done their patriotic duty by championing the cause of our people. I do sincerely hope we in government will rise up to the expectation of our people and renew their confidence in our democracy. Sir, I wish to thank you once again and the Deputy Speaker as well as the staff and officers of the Lok Sabha Secretariat for the good work and successful conduct of the business in this session. I thank you.